Welcome back to the show. I'm Stuart Quintel. I'm the host of this podcast series around property, real estate, and founders and operators within the industry. I am going to do that again. All right. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Stuart Quintel, and this series is all about conversations with founders, operators, and leaders shaping the real estate space. Today, I'm joined by Brian Durham, a licensed realtor and team leader at Reality Group and one of the most agent-centric brokerages in the Midwest. Brian's team consistently ranks among the top producers in Minnesota, and he's not only built a business around strong numbers, he's built a culture that turns agents into long-term performers. We'll talk about what it really takes to grow and scale a real estate team today, the processes, platforms, and people, and of course the role that technology is playing as businesses try to move faster and stay competitive. Brian, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Now, I like to sort of start, like the start of a show, the origins. What's your origins story? How did you get into real estate? And I guess what led you to build the business the way you have today?
Sure. So my journey into real estate is definitely different. I spent almost a decade previous to coming into this side of real estate in the banking and finance world, specifically mostly around mortgage. I did a little bit of retail banking there for a while, but the vast majority was lending and mortgage. And what had happened, I had a broker friend of mine that he was trying to get me to come be a real estate agent for a very long time. And I just kept telling him no, didn't want to start over, had this career that was going and I was a very successful lender. Luckily, I had a lot of agents and partners that enjoyed working with me. So one day he contacted me and he's like, "Hey, I have this great opportunity. I think it's going to be right up your alley." And I went and met with him, and it was one of the largest hedge funds in the world was coming to town and was going to start buying properties for long-term holds, rental properties. I want to say, I think that was a Tuesday. It's been a while, so I don't remember the exact dates, but I think it was a Tuesday. I flew from here in Minneapolis down to Chicago. I think it was about 2 days later, met with the people in Chicago that were running the local area for that hedge fund, found out that they were, yes, very much the real deal, came back, and that next Monday I left the bank. So it was very quick. Then my first 15 months of real estate, we did about 177 transactions for that one client. So we were very busy. At that time, I was running a small team. It was myself, one partner who was a real estate agent. We had a couple people that all they did all day was write contracts, and then a few people that did inspections of the properties to make sure that we, we're building the right budgets and things like that for the buyer. Now, I walked every one of those homes we bought before they closed because I didn't want anything to get missed potentially. So it was a very steep learning curve, but it was really great. And in Minnesota, the average agent at that time was doing about 3 deals a year. So I did a lot of volume really quickly, and it was kind of training by fire. Was really how it worked.
Yep. What was what sort of point did you realize you needed to grow from? You're now sort of a team leader, or now you're one of the leaders of the business you're in. But at what point did you decide you wanted to grow from being the agent, I guess, walking the houses to leading and building a team?
Sure. So for me, it was, again, a little bit weird, but I left that brokerage. One of the owners went and started another brokerage. And they wanted me to come with. I said, well, you go do it for a little while and then we'll see how things go for you. Right. So it was about a year or so after that, I went and joined them. At that time I was, I don't want to say we weren't technically a team because they at that time weren't really wanting teams at that brokerage. They kind of wanted everybody to be independent. But I was partnered up with a couple other friends of mine there, and we were all just loosely helping each other. And at that time we had a radio show and doing some other stuff together for marketing and advertising, things like that. I wanted to grow more of a real functional team. And since that wasn't the right place for it to happen, I started looking at other opportunities. At that time, I had three different options that I narrowed it down to. One was running a very large national expansion team for a big, I don't want to use names, a big national company in real estate space. We'll just say that. The more I delved into it and thought about it, that one just really wasn't the right fit for me. The other one at that time was to come to a realty group. Long Doan, who is now one of my business partners, he had been after me for a few years to come to realty group. And then the third one was start my own brokerage. Well, Stuart, honestly, someone told me that, well, you can't start your own brokerage and you won't, you won't like it. It's not the right thing for you. Well, I'm one of those people that if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to go out and make it happen. Right. So, at that time I decided, you know what, hey, I want to do this. I want to prove to myself and to others that I can. So I went and started my own brokerage, and that was where We Go Real Estate came from. At that time, it was very small. I wanted to keep things small and controllable, because for me it was about culture. I really wanted to control the culture of that brokerage and have a collaborative, where everybody can learn from each other and specialize in different things and not try to be a jack of all trades. And so that was really important for me to be able to provide that. So I did that. That was 2018 when I started my own brokerage. Grew it from there, had a few agents, but in 2000, when was it? I think it was 20. It was either 20. I think it was 20. I can't remember exactly when it came out, but around that time, a few years into it, Clear Cooperation came out, right? And Clear Cooperation, basically here in the States, it's a rule within the MLS that says you can't publicly market properties that aren't on the MLS and available for everyone to view. It's a kind of a playing field leveler and helps get the marketing out there for our clients. And so at that time, I sat back and I'm like, okay, what's this going to do to my business and how's it going to change? Well, it made sense at that point to be a smaller part of a larger whole where we could network with other agents and do that stuff. So at that time, I called Long, sat down with them, had a meeting, and we decided that it was going to work to roll my team up, or my brokerage, essentially roll it up here as a team. So I did that. At that time, he asked me to join. We have a team. It's called Broker Services here. It's a hotline and an email that agents can call into and get technical real estate questions answered, risk management, things like that. So he asked me to join the team. So I started taking phone calls and doing a few things along those lines. And then little did I know, 6 months later, I would be the managing broker of Realty Group. So it was kind of a really interesting experience. And again, went from running my brokerage where, had 6 or 7 agents to now I'm managing a brokerage with hundreds of agents that are in multiple states. So we were in Minnesota, Wisconsin, North Dakota, and Florida at that time. So it was a great opportunity for me. And now last year, we were the 126th largest brokerage out of 150,000 brokers in the country. We were the number 26. I want to say we were number 26 independent largest brokerage in the country. And, we consistently topped out the $1 billion club. we were very successful, the number one largest independent broker in Minnesota. And then, one of the things that I pride myself on, as well as the people that I have as business partners, is we're constantly trying to look forward and, where are things going? What can we do in the future to continue to add and provide value for our agents? We all are in love with the real estate industry. We're all students of the game. Our goal is to genuinely make the industry better as a whole, so we can make agents better and have a better consumer experience. Because ultimately, we're all here to serve the consumers. And
Yep.
When we're lucky that we deal with what for most people is their largest single investment that they own, and that's their home, right? And all of us have different stories. Long has a really great origin story, coming over here from Vietnam on a boat and escaping communism. Mike Bernier, my other business partner, has a really interesting story. I won't bore you with mine, but I grew up in a trailer with a single mom, and have come a long ways, and she really worked hard and instilled a great work ethic in me. And I'm proud of that. I've come a long ways because of her, really, quite honestly.
Well, I mean, it's amazing, and thanks for sharing that personal anecdote there of yourself. Can I if I bring it back to the current team structure, and you sort of said you got hundreds of agents. What are the kind of support systems that you build around them, and how is the business, I guess, split between the buyers, your sellers, and also your investors?
Right. So I'm involved in several different businesses, right? So at the beginning of this year, again, we were trying to figure out where are things going after all of the lawsuits that have been going on and everything that's been happening in the last few years within real estate. So earlier this year, we merged. It's funny because I took WeGo, rolled it up to Realty Group from brokerage, independent brokerage, to a team within another independent brokerage. And now we've rolled our independent brokerage up within another independent brokerage, even bigger. So earlier this year, we merged with LPT Realty. They are the fastest growing brokerage ever in the history of brokerages. They're the numbers, I think, 17th largest brokerage last year by units. This year, we're going to super exceed that, right? So it was a really exciting opportunity for us. So I run different models, which is really interesting and keeps things busy for me. So we have RGLPT, which I'm one of the owners of, along with my business partners. That's where we have all of our agents. And we have a lot of autonomous agents within there that are the CEOs of their own business. We have teams within RGLPT. We have a lead team that we run where we provide lead to agents, and we have multiple different levels within that, right? So I am one of the owners of that, and I am the managing broker essentially for RGLPT. I handle all of the risk management, do all of that stuff. I still have my broker services team, which is a bunch of very experienced agents and brokers. They take the daily calls, and we get hundreds of calls and hundreds of emails a week from our agents, helping them kind of with that risk management and this is an issue I'm running into. How do I fix this issue? That kind of stuff. So when we merged, that allowed us to go international, because we're in all 50 states plus several provinces of Canada now, available to join us. So we have the RGLPT, which is our core business. Then we have essentially what a line. A lot of people call it a downline or whatever. So we have people that are joining us that we've known for years, that we're always like, hey, how can we become part of RG? How do we get more access? All of this stuff, but we just couldn't physically service all of those people. Well, with that merger with LPT and that partnership, it allows us to do that, right? And then I still have The next level from there, we go real estate, which is my personal team that I run and manage and own. Um, and I help my agents there with lead generation and running a more efficient business and growing their business and doing things like that. I take on a lot of newer agents so I can help mentor them and really try to help build them a successful business so that they can, you know, quite honestly change their lives. That's kind of one of our goals, is changing lives for not only our agents, but for our consumers as well. And then
Yeah.
I still do real estate, right? I still actively help people buy and sell real estate. I don't do as
Okay.
much anymore as I used to. I probably do maybe 15, 20 deals a year, um, which is down a lot from where I used to be, but it still allows me to keep my pulse on what's going on. And it's really my past clients and referrals and things like that from them that I want to make sure I take care of them. So
Yeah.
that's my
Now,
real estate levels.
yeah. I mean, there's 24 hours in a day, and I think you've just filled all of them. Um, with you've got I guess the three companies as you mentioned, your own one that you started, the one that you then merged into originally with Long, and then obviously the more recent merger as well. How do you maintain, like, from a cultural perspective, like, is that something you have been able to maintain, or is that something that you're cognizant of when you've rolled up these businesses and managing all these businesses and managing lots of people, or having lots of people in this, because it is a people ecosystem
Mm-hmm.
in property. Like, how do you manage the culture, or what is the culture that you're trying to build or in your businesses?
Well, the good thing for me is they've always been synergistic, right? So when I started my brokerage, again, I wanted to control the culture. I wanted that collaborative work together. End goal is take care of the consumer and get them into the home that they want to be into. Uh, Realty Group was very similar to that. That's their whole mindset was make better agents, help them grow, have a better experience for the consumer. And so that's why it was really good synergy for me when I rolled everything up here, because we had that same kind of mindset to begin with. And that's where quite honestly, we were hitting a plateau within Realty Group of, what do we do? We were, we were the largest independent broker in Minnesota, all of those things. Like, we were, how do we scale and how do we continue to grow? Well, you know, it was take on VC money or sell off part of the company or this or that. There was other different avenues. But when we found LPT and Robert Palmer in particular, and his model of, again, build better agents, be real estate first, take care of the consumer, and really everything else will work itself out, right? Like, I'm a firm believer of, if you just do the right thing by your client consistently every single time, then you're going to be successful. And from there, closings come, the financial reward comes, the growing your network and all of that stuff. It's a byproduct of just taking care of your consumer.
Yep. It's an important message, as well as also from a cultural perspective, to bring on the right people, and also how they're integrating into the business in the broader sense. Can we, let's jump into systems and sort of talk some technology. What platforms or tools are most critical in running your team efficiently today?
Sure. So there's lots of different technology, and as soon as you think you got one figured out, there's something else that comes out that's supposedly better, right? And this is where, when I'm speaking with agents, I constantly have to remind them, don't chase the shiny object. Figure out what's going to work for you into your business, and then implement it and use it well. It used to be you had to have a CRM. Like, that was a bare minimum. Well, agents would always ask me, what's the best CRM? And you'll see chats online, right? And they're like, what's the best one? And you'll have 100 different people will give you 75 different answers. And I always say, the best one is the one you're going to use and you're going to get good at and learn to use it efficiently. So for listen, I still have agents that their CRM is an Excel spreadsheet or a little notebook that they keep all of their stuff in. For me, with the size of my database and things that would be unmanageable. So I use Lofty now, I'm still using Follow Up Boss as well. So that's a really good CRM for me. And part of what I like about them is the way they integrate with other things. Because another one that I use is Ylopo. And just full disclosure, I know the owners of Ylopo, and it's I use them because I feel like it's genuinely one of the best products out there. And how it helps me in my business is that it has a really good AI assistant, and G calls it Raya, and it is fantastic. It will take those leads and nurture them and keep talking to them and do all of the things that earlier you talked about there's 24 hours in a day, right? Well, I'm one of those people that sleeps 4 to 6 hours and I work the other 20 to 18. It's just, that's my nature. But Raya works when I am not available to make those calls, or as hundreds of leads are coming in, it's just not efficient for me to touch them all, because we all know that depending on where you're getting your leads, there's going to be a percentage of them that you're going to convert, right? But Raya probably converts 2 to 3 times as many as would happen if I was doing it on my own, just because of the amount of time that I would be spending on it. So those are 2 really big ones for me. And from there's other things we use, like, we have there's a program that we use that you can write contracts. And instead of going into the MLS and your state forms and filling them all out by hand, or even building templates, right? There's a product we use, and essentially you put in the MLS number, it pulls in all of the pertinent information from there, and then you can just plug in the price point and the type of financing and things. So you can, literally, I can write a contract with that while I'm sitting in a driveway. If a client says, "Hey, we want to get on this one," and I feel like we're gonna get into some potentially multiple bids or things like that, and time is really of the essence, sit right there and write a contract and have it fired off in 5 minutes. So it's really, AI to me is used to make things efficient and to do the tasks that I either A, don't want to do, or B, just don't like to do. Because that's what AI is really good at, and it allows me to do the things that I like to do, which is build the relationships, spend the time with people. It takes out the monotonous tasks of real estate that are still important things to do, but it allows me to do things that are the highest and best use of my time.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, like, real estate is a relationship business. It's, as you mentioned, it's people's biggest asset. It's people's most important asset at the end of the day. It's a place to sleep. Are there any other areas of the business that you'd still like to see improve with either technology, or AI?
Well, I think the follow up is still getting better and better and better. Barry Jenkins and Gabe Cordova and some of those realtors and residents at Ylopo that are constantly helping fine tune and tweak Raya and the scripts and the things that it uses. And she just keeps getting better and better, right? So I think that's going to continue to get better. There's things out there now like HeyGen is another one that, video is so important within this industry. but it's hard to sit down and shoot hours of video, right? Like, you're just for us to try to get some time together to do this was, okay, will this work for you? No, but this will, and that, like, it's time, right? And so that allows you to essentially build a digital avatar of yourself so that you can use and create, you can still go in and type the scripts, but it's your own face, it's your voice, it's actually an amazing product, but it allows you to, again, scale your time, shoot the videos, do the things that you want to do efficiently while you're either, doing other things that are making you money, or, even sleeping for that matter. There's my emails, I get, I don't even know, it's hundreds of emails a day that I get. Right? And just the fact of now I can click on an email and I have a bot that just condenses whole email chains where there's 40 emails in there to 2 or 3 paragraphs up at the top. So I can not have to read through all of the stuff, but I can skim that and be like, okay, this is something I really need to prioritize, and then make the time to make my response. Or there's other ones that I'm like, okay, this can wait till tomorrow. Or I read through it and I can see, okay, this was fixed. It doesn't need my attention or my response. Right. So it's really just, again, going back to the time in your day and allowing you to be efficient with your time so that you can do other things. So I think marketing is another one too. Sorry, I mean, cut you off there, but I think marketing is another one that's going to just continue to get better, right? As AI gets better about finding, you can use it to help find potential movers or, potential buyers. The data that's out there, and that you can get, especially if you're willing to pay for some of that data, is actually almost quite scary about what AI can figure out about you just from your search history. Or, if you want to be omnipresent on the internet, you can use it to run ads in those little, in the side space of every time they're popping into a website to read the news or do whatever, they're seeing your face, right? So that will continue to get better as well, I think. And also, as it gets more efficient with how you can target the right people, that typically leads to, it gets less expensive, which is nice as well. So
I mean, you mentioned a couple of the tools there, like HeyGen. Definitely plenty of people using that to sort of generate content on the for their business and scale things out. Now, looking ahead, like we've covered quite a lot of bases here, but sort of what's what's next for you and the team? Another merger, or what are the big goals for the next 12 months?
Well, that's a great question. Hopefully not another merger. I can tell you that. This last one was a lot of work. No, we are all in with helping continue to grow RGLPT, and our goal is to have thousands of agents instead of hundreds. Right? We're really close to topping into that 1,000 already, and I'm talking overall, like our cross line, our core business, all of that stuff, right? Because the larger we make that, the more people we can touch, and the more we can help continue to try to make the industry better. And ultimately, that's what we really want to do, is partner with the right people that have that mindset of culture and growth and sharing. Earlier this year, we put on a mastermind down in Florida, and we had agents from all over the country there. We had the top listing agent in the country. We had one of the top AI people in the business. Like all of them came down, and we spent a few days together just talking. And what works for you? What would you like to see improved? And it never once was about, I don't want to share with you because you're at this brokerage, or you're not with us, or you're not here, right? It's how can we all get better at what we do? And the old saying of steel sharpens steel is a saying for a reason, right? So the people that you surround yourself with are what you're either going to live. I'm just gonna say, you're either going to live up to that or you're going to live down to it, right? So I want people like Mike and Long and the other people that I surround myself with that are thought leaders and are constantly pushing me to be better and try to think too. Because I tell agents all the time, if you think you're the smartest person in the room, you're not. And if you know you're the smartest person in the room, you need to get up and walk out and find a different room to be in, right? Because it's just, you've got to be constantly learning in this business. And if you're not evolving and growing and learning, you're going to die on the vine. That's just plain and simple how it works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Brian, I really appreciate your time tonight and today, sharing your stories as well as your journey and where your business is. And I can definitely see, that part of that culture, I guess, in your business is also stemming from what you're doing at the leadership level. Where can people find out more about your business, and where can they reach out to you?
Sure. So you can find me on social media. It's pretty easy to find me. It's Brian Durham, realtor. Pretty basic, but very easy to find me. Happy to chat with anybody. You can also go to my my personal website is wegorealestate.com. That's also there's a contact me on there. You can email me anytime, Brian at wegorealestate.com. Happy to chat with people. Always want to learn from other people, and I love to just sit down and have conversations and see what I can do to help other people grow their business as well. So,
yep. Well, Brian, thank you very much, and I'll drop some of those links into the podcast so that people can easily find the websites. And if you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow and share the podcast. And if you're a real estate founder or team leader doing something interesting with tech, people, or process, reach out, and I'd love to hear your story. Thanks again, Brian, and thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Stuart. Have a great day.